Hello, Dr. Jane Goodall. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine, and hello to you, Alexis.
Welcome. And let me make a small introduction. I think, of course, everybody knows you. Once I heard if in the conservation movement there will be a rock star, you will be a combination between Lennon, Dylan, and Elvis Presley. The main idea, Jane, is to discuss about what is going on currently and the options for the young people. Someone that is young is always thinking, okay, I know that I have to have hope, but what happened with how I feel about what is going on, about the frustration, the anger, the sometimes depression, burnout? What do you think, how you will address this point to young people feeling this day by day?
Well, it was way back in the early 1990s, late 1980s, that I was already traveling around the world trying to raise awareness about environmental problems in Africa affecting the chimpanzees and the forests. And I was meeting all these young people who, as you say, were, well, most of them in all these different countries. They were just apathetic. They didn't seem to care. They'd sort of given up. But then there were some, as you say, deeply depressed, even clinically depressed, some angry, even violent. And so I started asking them, why do you feel like this? Well, you've compromised our future and there's nothing we can do about it. Well, as you know, we've not just compromised the future of our young people, we've been stealing it. We're still stealing it. But is it too late to do something? No, I was absolutely sure, and I still am. We have a window of time. It's closed a lot since those 1990s, but it's still there. And if we get together, then we can at least slow down climate change and slow down the loss of biodiversity and heal some of the harm. So that's why I started our youth program, Roots and Shoots. It began with 11 high school students in Tanzania. And we decided that because everything's interrelated, each group would choose 3 projects or more, but 3. One would help animals, one would help people, one would help the environment. And that the message was every single one of us makes some impact every single day, and we get to choose what kind of impact we make. So from that little beginning, 12 high school students from 8 schools, we're now in 67 countries, still growing. We've got members in kindergarten, very strong in university. We've even got staff of big corporations forming groups, and they're acting as watchdogs within the corporation, changing from within as well as pressure from without. So for me, Roots and Shoots is working, A, because the kids get to choose their projects. Well, of course, they need guidance if they're in kindergarten, but the older ones. And secondly, because it's all about action. You think about what you want to do, you work out how to do it, you roll up your sleeves and you go out there and you work and take action. And this is the way to counteract this depression and anger, because if you work in your local community or doing whatever it might be raising money for the climate refugees in Bangladesh, for example, but whatever it is you do, you see that you and your friends actually are making a difference. And then you realize that in all these other countries, there are young people in Roots and Shoots and other youth groups also making a difference. And then suddenly you feel, yes, we can do it. And they get hope, and hope leads to more action. It's a circle. And if you're hopeful, talk about what you've done, then that spills off into other people and they get involved and they begin to feel more hopeful. Yep. The last thing I would say on this is that because I've been going around the world, I've met so many incredible people doing amazing things, reclaiming land that you would think was destroyed forever, but given time, nature is very resilient. And we need to counteract all this doom and gloom. Yes, we need to know what's happening, but we also need to know the actions that are being taken that are turning things around all over the world, and amazing projects and amazing people. I want the media to share those stories, give them time, not just the doom and the gloom.
What sort of professional paths can you suggest, or how will you talk to someone that is choosing the future and they want to be involved in this field? They know that their life will be, in their life, they will have to deal with this. What professional paths can they choose, or what do you suggest to them?
Well, I think, young people ask me this, and I say, well, it depends. What is your passion? What do you really care about? And sometimes there's very strong, as you say, pressure from parents or teachers to move into something like business school. That's a typical one in Asia. And so I don't want to tell them to go against their parents. So I always say to them, well, do that, make money, be successful. Still, every single day you can help the environment. Maybe you want to be an artist. Maybe you want to be a musician. Maybe you want to be a carpenter. Whatever you do, in whatever profession, you can still make that difference every single day. You can join a group, get together in the evenings to make change. And if you want to go into an actual environmental profession, you've got to really want to do it, because it's not easy and you don't get much money. And so you've got to have a passion. And then it's the passion that keeps you going.
I believe that we have two problems. I think one, we have a system. We try a lot of systems all over the world. And the two, we have the individual. So at the system level, for example, we consume a lot. We have a system that encourages consuming. So at the same time, that is a system that we belong to, in which at the beginning it started with good intentions, somehow along the way became very destructive, but we remain in it. We couldn't escape. So now we are part of it. As an example, on the fossil fuels, they serve its purpose at the beginning. They were very helpful to kickstart a revolution. But at some point, we start learning that all what was built on fossil fuels now is at risk if we keep using and abusing them. So at the end of the day, the destruction is there. And I don't know how you feel about this.
Well, I certainly feel it's desperately important to move away from fossil fuels into renewable energy. And it's perfectly possible if governments would just subsidize all of these amazing innovations that scientists are now coming up with. We could absolutely be independent of fossil fuels and all the damage that they're doing to the environment.